So here we are then for another episode of Can I Beat the Pole App? And we are at a rainy Las Vegas Grand Prix. Now, this one is going to be fun. This one's going to be different. And this one is a little bit uncommon. As you guys know, we don't get many wet weather pole apps. So I think this one could be quite a tricky, quite a different episode. Now, let's be real. This is going to be very different to the usual format where we kind of do like a lap and then box. This is one of them ones where, a bit like in real life, you just want to be on track constantly and, you know, trying to improve and find time and building up your confidence. So that will kind of bleed into the run plans a bit. So right now, I believe we're on a default setup. We're going to do some laps and just kind of get a baseline and get a real understanding of where we're at. Now, the conditions are probably a bit on the wetter side. I've started off a bit more on that end and we'll kind of work our way down to try and get the conditions, you know, kind of more accurate to what they were in the actual qualifying when the Q3 session rolled around. So, like I said, we'll kind of figure this out in real time throughout the episode. Either way, there are some things to note. This version of Vegas isn't super accurate compared to, you know, other versions of tracks we've driven in this series. But still, it's pretty damn decent. It's the best one we have available, and it also gains in other areas like the surroundings or the visuals. It looks pretty damn sweet. So, yeah, one thing I've got to do, which I just did right there, is not use my DRS. That's going to be a habit I'm going to have to try and break and not fall into. But anyway, all that ramble aside, just to say, we are here to beat a 1 minute 47.9 from Lando Norris, 934 to be exact. And he got poled by quite some way over his rivals. So let's see what we do as we get our first lap started. So through the last corner, flat. Towards turn one, braking. Very, very light on the brakes and even lighter on the throttle. That's going to be the real challenge, the accelerator here. Right, through turn one. Through turn two, I'm running a very baseline engine modes at the minute, so we'll kind of, you know, crank it up as we go along. Braking zone, easy does it. A little bit early there on the braking for turn three. I believe it's turn four technically, but I call it turn three. And now towards the severe chicane. Look for the 100 on the left. There it is. Oh, wide. And there's the first invalidation of the day. Oh, right through the final chicane. We'll go again and we'll try another lap. This one is invalid as we just tick over a 1 minute 50 as we head over the line now. We are on the full wet tyres, so yet to use the inter. Oh, deep into turn one now. I'm really struggling with the braking into that corner. I've done some practice to kind of fine tune the conditions, you know, just see what we're working with here. So I've got some knowledge. You have to be so gentle with the throttle and be really, really, really patient to not light up the rears. Right, down towards turn three again. Tyres just lock so quickly, so easily. Watch the traction. Now we light up the rears as we head into the chicane. Brake at the 100, there it is. Turn in. Attack the first curb. Ride the second one. Bit of throttle as we then tighten up for the last one. And now watch the exit as we get to full power. This is flat through here. Try and open up this left and now straight line braking. Very important for the little kind of kink before the back straight. Get the power down, lighten the rears up again as we now race down the Vegas strip. And we could basically have a quick cup of tea, cup of coffee and wait until we get to the next braking zone. For this one, you want to brake at about 150 in these conditions. So the second brake marker board you'll see, there she is, braking a little bit earlier on this lap as we're still trying to build up our confidence over the curbs, try to avoid doing a Lando or an Albon or a Colapinto as we now floor it and go flat to the line. So 47.9 to beat. We're not going to be near that just yet. Over the start finish, it's going to be a 1:53.7. So that's our first lap, but we can definitely improve. we're going to go for the intermediates, and we're going to see how they hold up. And yeah, first things first, obviously fuel. Now, we are not going to run single lap fuel for this one because it's pretty unlikely the drivers had that in real qualifying. It's, you know, basically you put some extra fuel in and you just do lap after lap after lap. You also wouldn't be using all your battery because you're just constantly doing laps, because you want to make sure as the track improves, you're getting the track at the right time. So we'll halve the fuel, and that will be a bit more of a realistic mode. I'm yet to tune the strat modes, so that will be more towards the end once we really go for it. Now, that wasn't a medium downforce kit. Now, knowing Vegas, it's very likely low downforce, very low downforce was the selection. So I'm going to go low downforce. I'm going to add a click of front wing, and I'm also going to increase the rear gurney flap, which adds a bit more rear downforce. Now, also on the brakes, I'm going to keep those as they are, but I'm going to actually cover up the brake ducts entirely for brake temp. So we're going to make sure those ducts are closed. Now, we'll keep the balance also default. The brakes felt pretty decent. We're going to just quickly work our way down without missing any important values. Now here, engine map, we have the wet option for engine mapping, so we'll give that a crack. And I was in recharge. We'll try a race mode now for this, which will give us a bit more straight line speed, and that should give us a bit better performance. Now, tire temps, probably we could get away with a bit of camber here and really crank this up. I don't think we're going to be overheating, so we're going to go, I'll go 3 on the front on the camber, and then for the toe, I'll go 3 as well. On the rear, we'll up it by a click, and we'll also bring the camber to about 1.6, and we'll give that a go and see how the inters hold up. Now we're going to go to race mode, which will give us a bit more engine power, but I expect to struggle with the lower downforce package. So let's see. Braking for turn 1, bit deep, bit of a lock up there. There is a bit of a line in the middle of the track as we head through turn 1, turn 2. We'll get the delta up once we get a respectable time. I had to reset the session real quick to just tweak a couple of settings for graphical reasons, so we lost that previous time, but it's all good. Right, into turn 3. Curbs are fairly flat, so you can definitely lean on them as we light up the rears now into the chicane. Aggressive over the first curb. Same goes for the second one. And now open up this one a bit more, try and carry some speed, a little bit of throttle throughout the entire process as we light it up on the way out. Right. Through the right, open the left. Bit of a lock up there, you can hear the tyres screech. We just about clear the barrier. And now just floor it. So, the lower wing and also the race engine mode should give us better top speed. We're actually going to hit 8th gear, which is good, but we're barely braking 300 kilometers an hour, so we're not exactly flying down the Vegas Strip. On the brakes into the final chicane. A little bit deep into the first part. We take a little short shift as we now get the power down fully. I did a 53-ish high last time out. This time, over the line, we do a 54.2. We'll try again though. I'll go for a second lap to see if that helps. Tire temp is pretty low right now. Oh my god, that's a big wall crunch there. Fight in the rear constantly, and we're already 4/10 down. I can see it on my wheel dash. This time we much more in control through the left onto the back straight. I also gained time through the sphere, so we're now 3/10 up. So we've gained 7/10. I'm now going to basically use my overtake down this straight, which if you look at the steering wheel in the top right corner, my delta's there. We're just finding free lap time here by simply burning the battery. Top speed 330 k's, that's a difference right there. Get it stopped, get it stopped. Into the chicane. And now watch the exit. Battery again to the line once the rear stops spinning. And that's going to be a significant time gain. We'll gain over a second and a half here and move into 152s. Yes, we do. Now, first things first, before we do any more setup work, I feel like the track is probably on the wetter side, considering we're 5 seconds off the pace. I don't think there's 5 seconds on this track currently. So I am going to just tweak the conditions. Now, this is what I started with. Rain amount is about 9% from what I can see back here. Rain wetness is 4. Rainwater 19.5. So we are just going to drop the rainwater to about 15.7 and the rain wetness to about 3%. So we'll just gradually try little things and see how they feel. Now, in terms of setup, all I can do really is drop the tire pressures. I mean, that will be a massive help. We'll lose straight line speed, but we'll gain tire temp. So that's a good start. Now, for the fuel, we've got some data here, but it's not super accurate. I'll go for 15 litres. I won't do half of 25. I'll do 15 and just see what that gives us. And the next thing I want to do is some strap modes. Now, for this one, the rear gurney flap is non-existent on the very low downforce package. So I'm going to try and see how this feels. We've got the increased front wing. But yeah, braking is a tricky one. I'm trying to find the balance of the brakes. I'm adjusting that in car. That's proving a bit difficult for me to find the balance. I'm going to go up a little bit more towards the front. And yeah, pretty much. This is one of the things where I feel like setup isn't super important. You just have to get really confident driving. We'll go for Race Plus, which will give us a bit more engine horsepower. Now, my tire pressures did reset on the session change, but that's fine. We can, put those, not tire pressures, my camber and toe, reset. So we can put those back to what they were just now a moment ago and see how that feels. And then, yeah, pretty much, I just want to keep driving. Simple as that. I want to see how the new conditions feel, because those will make a big difference. I am going to go a bit lower on the roll bars just to make a bit of a difference there. Race Plus, there it is. And now let's see what we can do. Over the start finish, we've got the Delta bar also working. Oh, deep. Lap's still valid, but we're... Oh my god, well off track. Let me try that again. I'll just use this lap to get my confidence up. Funny enough, from running Strap Mode 1 and Race Plus, we're just gaining tons of time from having a relatively decently mapped battery mode, but we are basically leaving ourselves without any deployment for the next lap. But even with that huge turn 1 blunder, and there's been a few others in this lap, we have found another second, so we may as well finish the lap. We'll have no battery for the next one, but at least we'll have a reference, a better reference, a faster reference, crucially. Over the line we go. And there it is. I'm just braking way too late for turn 1. My muscle memory, like my reference point is so F1 game orientated that I have to brake earlier. So we'll do a recharge lap, and yeah, we should be back for the next one. On the brakes nice and early, and there we go, just using a different braking point. That seems to help. Having to be very patient with the throttle through 1 and 2, but look at that, we find an entire second. Make that 1.2. Good stuff so far. Right, let's keep it together through this part of the track. Braking pretty late into turn 3. Watch the traction out of here. There we go, that's a second quicker. Lovely stuff. Fuel light on. So we're starting to burn through our fuel, as they would do, of course, in the real life qualifying, where you start just winding down the laps and burning your way through it. Watch the traction out of the sphere chicane. Right, this is the one where I want to see if I could try and not run so deep here and just focus entirely on the exit. There we go, that's more like it. Lost a lot of time on the entry, but I tried to floor it on the way out. More or less made no net difference. We're still 1.4 up, but the difference is this time we do have some battery left in the tank. We're not burning through it so much. So that should result in a bit of a gain towards the end of the lap. We can use overtake if we need to. Braking late into the chicane, a little bit deep. Lost a bit of time, managed to brake even later on my best lap, but we get a much better exit as a result. And now I'm going to just sit on the overtake button and gain 3 lap time all the way to the line. There we go. 149.5. Right, good stuff. So I'm actually quite enjoying running, let's say, a more conservative strat mode, which doesn't really deplete your battery. You can actually selectively choose when to override with overtake to use it, which I think is quite productive. Now, ironically, on the setup menu, I have a whole bunch of setups, even ones that come with the car, but none are for the wet, which makes things quite interesting, obviously, because of the session that we're currently in. So we're sort of on our own here, trying to figure out what a wet setup could look like. Now, I am going to go down on these pressures again. I feel like we can just keep putting those down. Now, the fuel can also go down. We was okay. I'm going to go for 12 litres. I reckon that's going to be more or less about our minimum. And now we use Strat 7 for that lap. Now, Strat 8 is basically nothing. There's no power deployment there at all. Matter of fact, if we go Strat mode 8, here we can literally clear it. And there is a clear mode. Strat mode 1 is the one that I want to be my full power mode. So split 1, there's going to be nothing. Okay, I don't think it's worth burning anything. Split 2, same again. I don't think it's worth using anything out of turn 1 because traction is impossible to find. So we'll take that MGUK off. Split 3, this is when we'll start to use. So you can see that's mapped quite nicely. Split 4, I won't use much e-boost, if any, to be honest. I think we can just use MGUK into there. And even then, I think we haven't got to run it as far into the chicane. We can probably drop that a little bit and also delay when it starts so that we get better traction out of the corner. Nothing through the sphere. A decent bit of e-boost here before the left-hander. We can probably cut the MGUK a bit sooner as well. And then the back straight is where we can probably drop more e-boost. So we'll push that up a little bit. And then split 8 up to the line, more e-boost, and whatever MGUK we have. I am going to go for the low downforce kit with the gurney flap a little bit higher. I'm happy with the front wing. Again, I'm trying to be realistic here with the wing level, so let's see what this does. We're going to go Strat 1, and we're also going to go Race Plus. Let's see if we can put the lap together. Oh, a little bit deeper turn 1 there. I just nicked one of my front tyres. We do pull it back on the exit though, so it's not terrible. Through turn 2, trying to use that slightly increased downforce package to get the power down a bit sooner. And we'll see if we have battery left at the end of the lap. The strat mode though is working pretty well. Braking a little bit early there as we're carrying more speed into turn 3. Little throttle squirt there mid-apex to kind of drift the car around the apex as we lose the rear. Into the chicane. Car braking well. A little bit wide there through the second part, but it's all good. Right, important exit here. There's a lap gain from the extra bit of rear gurney flap and the downforce package. Right, this one's important. We've got to try and do better here. Braking a little bit less and a little bit later as we cut over the curb a bit more aggressively this time. Just flooring it, lighting the rears up. So far, so good. This is going to use up our deployment here, so we might be a little bit short on the run to the line. This could be interesting. Right, let's try and push the braking here. Again, using that increased downforce package. Still just struggling to turn in. Trying to get the power down as soon as possible. But we're out of juice, so too much thirst on the strat mode. We're going to lose lap time all the way to the line here, but we'll try and take a short line. We go marginally quicker there. I've got fuel for another lap, so we'll stay out for one more and get a charge up. Okay, I've got a plan. I'm going to start the lap in none, like no battery use at all. We'll turn it on out of turn 1. So let's just get the first corner done first. There we go. This time not running as deep. A little bit of a lock up, but it's all good. Bit of a wall hit there as we lose the rear. Through turn 2. Alright, open it up now. Here we go. Lost a little bit of momentum, but it's all good. We're going to have more charge available, hopefully. Braking later for turn 3 this time. And there we go. We're back up on time. So now we should have a little bit more juice left for the rest of the lap, hopefully. If my calculations are correct. Now let's try and iron out those errors. Like here, we ran a bit wide last time. This time we stay a bit tighter. The only other big mistake really is the final chicane. I want to try and see if I can get that apex at the left, the first part of the turn. Only marginally up here. Open up this left. Into the kink. A little bit of throttle on. Early. I tried to manage wheel spin there, but I got a bit impatient. Right, let's see. Do we have a bit more battery this time? I don't think we do have much more. Maybe about 3 to 5 units. It's not going to be a lot of difference at all. I'm going to try and get my nose into the apex early. Good exit. A little bit of battery there, which gained us a bit of time. They've got a little bit of recharge back, which helped. So we're going to gain a little bit to the line with momentum as well. And we'll regain half a second. So 148.6 as we have 1.3 left on the fuel. So that puts us 7/10 off Lando's time. Now, the only thing I want to show you here is my strat mode mapping. So I feel like we are running it a bit short. So we're going to go to strat 1. We're going to go to split 6. And we're going to just run a bit less turbo. A little bit less E-boost should give us a bit more for the straight. I'm also going to cut out the MGUK a bit sooner as well, because we don't really use it at that point. We're kind of braking for the corner. And not just that, if we go to split 8, we'll run a bit less E-boost here to try and see if we can lean on the MGUK for the run to the line. And then we'll also go back to split 5. Yes, it is. We'll also cut the E-boost here a little bit so it doesn't use as much. We'll also run the MGUK a bit shorter. So that should be a better balance. I've got to stop hitting the wall. I want to try and get a clean lap on my best lap if possible. I love how we're basically neck and neck. Really good exit there. I think we can find some time here still at this corner. There we go. That's the exit. That's the best one we've done so far. Traction was perfect. The big test now is the strat mode. We're not using E-boost anymore, so we lose a little bit. You can see we've still got some juice left in the bottom right, which is going to help us now on the exit of the chicane. Trying to do my downshifts a bit later. That seems to be helping. A little bit wide there. Going to lose as a result. We find good traction though again. And we've still got battery left, so we're going to gain up to the line. So it's going to be an improvement here, which is great. 48.5. So it's a small improvement. We'll go for one more. We've still got fuel, so we can go again. Ah, damn it. That was a great lap. Really good lap. That was clean. We put it all together there. Full send for a 48.2. Literally 3/10 off. That would be enough for second place. Oh, damn it. I was flying. Absolutely flying on that one. Oh my god, no. I want a clean lap. But I've got it. I've got it. Oh no. I'm overdriving it. I'm overdriving it. Come on. Let's go. There it is. Beautiful. Bit of a mistake at the sphere chicane, but the rest of the lap was so good. Love it. I'll take it. I'm done.
Right, let's talk about the setup. Now, to be honest, it's not critical, but feel free to pause and watch what I did. I ran minimum tire pressures, 12 litres of fuel, a custom strap one, as you can see in the bottom there. In terms of the deployment, I actually ended up removing the kind of zone before the sphere, which gave us enough battery to run to the line, which is what I was looking for. Low downforce aero kit with 6 front wing and 5 on the gurney flap. I fully covered the brakes, balance map 5 with 57 on the brake balance bias. And then also migration, if we go to the brake maps or brake shapes, I actually use brake shape 1, but I increase the migration to 2%, which basically puts it more towards the rear the more you go past 50% brake. So yeah, again, elsewhere, these are all subtle differences. I don't think I changed the diff at any point. And then if we go to Obviously, drive target presets are irrelevant. Power unit, wet weather mode, push on the power unit mode, engine brake I kept default. Also suspensions, you can see there, camber and toe adjustments from before, no changes. Bump stops and dampers default. Heave springs also, and then on the mains, I just lowered the roll bars a bit and also upped the tension bar on the front. Also lowered the tension bar on the rear, or the torsion bar, sorry. From back here, I struggle to see what it says. And yeah, the rest are all visuals. But the rule key for this one is the weather settings. So again, feel free to pause, but this is my pure weather planner. So 9% rain amount with 3% wetness, 15.7 rainwater, and then 70% humidity, no mist. 12 degrees temperature, which is what they're running in real life, about 12 degrees, and also about 18 km/h winds, which is what I saw on the forecast. So I tried to get that as accurate as I could, and around 8 p.m. I started. It's now 9:11 p.m. local time, and yeah, overall, actually no, it's 8:55. I have done this in 2 sessions though, so ignore what I said. That's actually the date. So yeah, overall, good stuff. So guys, I'll leave the mods link down below for, of course, the weather, the car, the track. If you want to check it out, give it a go. Let me know what you think. Try and run these weather settings, which is what I use, and see if you can beat me. I'll be keen to hear your thoughts. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more. Let's try and smash 1,000 likes. And as always, a massive shout out to my channel members. Also, guys, check out the 2 videos on screen for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Hopefully it's a fun race. I'll see you next time. Grazie. Ciao, ciao.